Just in case you missed our last Life with the Polites, MRL, Marriage, Relationship, and Love episode, check out what you missed.
I use these 6 simply because I believe that everyone in a relationship should be able to gravitate toward these, because these are everyday occurrences. These are part of the everyday livelihood, communication, living together aspects of a relationship. And this is how, in my opinion, how the light is shined on those who don't believe that they've came from a toxic environment. You know, but I said earlier, we get drawn in our relationships emotionally so much that we can't see. And in many cases, before we reach this point of denial, we try to change the person. Think about what I said. For those that have blinders on, that they can't see no wrong in their partners, and this type of faulty relationship, these type of faulty behaviors have overtaken the relationship, and you can't recognize it, the first thing that many people do, they try to change the person. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against change. We've all have changed. We've accepted change because that's who we've became today, because we were willing. And that's the part with change. You have to be willing. Willingness allows change. Mm-hmm. So I don't want no one to think that I'm against change. But that's what you have to really come into when you get to this part of your relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, what I'm saying is that it's vital to breaking the cycle. And if what you seek, and what I'm saying is you want to keep this person, I have to say this, because you have to know what you're opening yourself up to. Because like I said, later on, I'm going to talk about the breakaway of leaving this type of person. So I say again, if change is what you seek in this type of person, breaking the cycle demands 2 things. If you seek to change, to hang in there, to be with a person in this type of environment, you have to understand breaking the cycle is going to demand 2 things. It's going to demand closure and willingness. And let me explain to you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that person has to bring closure to their unhealthy behavior. That person has to be willingness, or let me use another word, must have the readiness to help you heal from the hurt they've brought you. You have to be, if you in it to win it, you got to have these 2 things. You got to have closure, and you have to have willingness. And when I say willingness, this person has to be ready. Not next week, not an engagement in 2 years, but now.
You're talking about the toxic person.
Yes, exactly.
Bring closure and willingness.
Exactly. Okay. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. I mean, if change is what you seek, the other person too. Now think about this. I'm glad you brought that out. If change from what you seek, the other person too that's giving this individual another chance, he or she got to be prepared for closure too. They got to be prepared for closure to forgive. And they got to have the willingness and that same type of readiness to be open again. It's two tales of the story. If that's what you want. Like I said, we're going to get into the breakaway, but for some people are so dug in and they want that other person so bad, and that's the discussion part, they're willing on going after